Okay, then here we go. I've not done one of these for a while. I've not had to be fair. Car's been pretty sweet, but the last 3 months, 4 months, maybe a bit longer, horrible whining noise. Now that could be a lot of different things, but for me it's this air conditioning compressor 2.2 turbo diesel Honda, 2005 it is. There's the information. I'll get that for you there. I'll clean that up 1 second. There's some codes and some numbers, if they mean anything. Again, I'm not a mechanic, I just prefer to do things myself, and this is definitely the problem. I changed the pulley, which is just down here somewhere. It's all on the belt drive basically. You got this one here, if there's any light, and then there's just one below it. You can just see the nut at the down there. Basically, I changed the little bearing on there, the little pulley wheel. 20 quid. That didn't do it, so I thought, okay, let's go somewhere else, and it turns out it's this. And if you listen, sounds absolutely ghastly. Listen to me. Yeah, shit basically. And there's a new one. Now, getting it out wasn't easy, but I've done it. First of all, you want to take your belt off. To do that, you will need a 17mm long spanner, aviation spanner, 17mm. You can move this out the way, move that out the way, get these pipes pushed out the way and what have you. To be honest, I try and do as little as possible when it comes to it. You want to get on that nut there, alright, and when your spanner's on there, you pull back towards the front of your car, takes the tension off the belt, allows you to shimmy the belt off this power steering runner here. You see the wheel there, the grooves, that's your power steering. It'll allow you to get your belt off. Once your belt's off, you then need to think about getting to this, your air conditioning compressor. Now, it is situated in the car like that, and this part here just had a nut screw over, same for here, a bolt with a nut on, a threaded one goes in there, a pipe fits in here, and a pipe fits in here, and it's all located down the front of your engine here, all around about in this area here. Okay, now one pipe is here, I've pulled him up. Okay, he goes down there, that'll be the one that goes to the front, and then this pipe over here, which I've shimmied out the way as well. Let's have a little gander. Where's he gone? He said, screw you, I ain't coming back. Here he is. This one hooks down. Actually, no, this is the front one. Sorry, I do apologise. This is the front one, and I've moved it out the way to get under there. Okay, these pipes have a bit of flex in them. Try not to bend the aluminium part to it though. But the rubber bit, he goes there like that. Okay, as you can see, just in front of that fan there. There's the fan. He sits at the front. This one came down over here, and that was the one that fit on the side. Okay, he fit on the side. Onto this bit here. Now you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts. They all look like that, and the bottom 2 are easier than the top 2. This one was quite difficult. That one weren't as bad once you got on him, because you can't quite see him, but once you're on him, you sound. Now I used, I think it was 12mm spanner, because that's what they are. Just find them with your hands. If you don't mind roughing your arms up a little bit and getting greasy and dirty, which is half the job half the time, you know, you can get to these things pretty simple. It does take a bit of manoeuvring. I had to come from like this angle to miss this sharp bit here. I had to get down there like that, get in there with my spanner a little bit for the one, same for the other one, and then the bottom 2 I went from underneath, as you'd expect, and they were located around about this area here, all right, and you can get to them quite easy. There's one hole. There is it. There's one hole went in, and there's, go on, up you go. There's the other hole that it went in. Okay, and then these just get to those two little nuts that screw the pipes in. Which that's them together. You know, there's the top of one, the bottom of the other. I just screw them together to keep them safe. So that'll come off. All right, and now you are going to be leaking refrigerant if you've still got some in there and it's working. I'm guessing there's a specialist way of getting rid of that. I just let it leak out. I don't know whether that's a problem or not. I can imagine with it being a type of gas, it might be people might prefer it to be done a certain way, but I just did it how I needed to do it because I need to get the bloody thing done. Now, getting it out of there is the biggest problem. Could have took all this out, moved all this, but then this part where you fill your oil up with, where you fill your air oil filter is for your engine, I don't think that can be moved out the way. So it's through the bottom. I was going to come through here, but by the time I got up to here, I'd have to have moved this out the way, which I can't remember what that's called, and these pipes, and I started to take this pipe off. Here, and coolant was leaking out, and I thought, screw that, can't be asked to go in that route because again he's not going to fit out here. So I thought, let's go out the bottom. And once I got out the bottom, I realised that this subframe was going to have to move. Now, I hadn't taken the wheels off, I hadn't taken the bottom of the wishbones off or anything like that. The wheels are in the air, it's all jacked up. I thought, stuffing out, I've got to take my axle stands out to do all that. So basically what I found out was that when it comes out of this little area here, you can go out through this little gap around the side here. That's probably the way most mechanics would have done it, to be fair. I'd have saw that before. But I just managed to wriggle it out of here. But I did have to drop the subframe bolts at the front and at the back, loosen the back ones. I left the back ones in because I weren't sure how much support that gave to other parts of the engine. I put a jack here just to keep my engine up in case it was supporting that, and I didn't want it all to fall down. Then I got to get it back up to get these bolts back in. But I took the front two out and I found that it just pivots. It was just pivoting like that. Obviously on those castle nuts there, the bottom of the wishbones, I weren't going to start playing about with that. So happy days, it came out the side here, and all I'm going to do is wiggle the new one back in, all through there, wiggle him in over here, get him back into position, put the bolts in, reconnect. Also, forgot to say, there is a clip sensor or something like that that goes coming from the bottom just here on the bottom of that fan there, all right, into the side, and that's it really. Any questions? Again, I always do these backwards because there's no point filming it while I'm doing it because there's no saying I'm going to be able to do it. But now it's out, I'll always be able to get it back in and go backwards. That's not a problem. So any questions on how to change a air conditioning compressor on an FRV 2.2, this is diesel 2005. I can imagine a few of them are going to be similar anyway, but this is this model. I also found what was handy was taking out this bit of trim here as well on the side, just so you can get in there a little bit if need be. It was just handy to get rid of it. I'm running this car into the ground, but I don't mind changing parts here and there, especially when it sounded like that, because this was a very high pitched whine in about second gear, 2000 revs. Once the engine got going, you couldn't hear it in the car, but I can imagine everybody else in the village could hear it as I went up between the buildings. So yeah, happy days. Get the belt back on at the end, do everything back up that I undone, and that's basically it. Any questions, like I say, don't hesitate to ask. I am not a qualified mechanic, so obviously don't hold me responsible for any problems you may come against or issues you create. Yeah, I just like to get on with it because, one, I save money, two, I gain experience. So yeah, any questions, don't hesitate to ask.